The lake had been in my family longer than the WA had existed. That's important, because the day my brother cast a fishing line into that water, a group of grown adults decided to forget facts, deeds, and common sense, and dial 911. It was a quiet Saturday morning. The kind where the water sits flat like glass and the only sound is birds and the splash of fish near the reeds. My brother Mark had come to visit for the weekend. He brought his old fishing gear, nothing fancy, just a pole, a tackle box, and the kind of patience only fishermen have. "Mind if I fish for a bit?" he asked. I laughed. "You're standing on my dock." He dropped a line in and settled back, calm as can be. That calm lasted about 10 minutes. I noticed a woman marching down the trail from the WA neighborhood nearby. Sunglasses, clipboard, phone already in her hand. Behind her were two board members I recognized immediately, people who had complained for years that my lake was somehow shared, even though it clearly wasn't. She didn't greet us. She shouted, "You can't fish here. This is community property." Mark looked at me, confused. I stepped forward and said evenly, "This is a private lake." "Always has been," she scoffed. "We'll see about that." And before I could say another word, she turned her back and called 911. Loudly, "I need police immediately," she said, pacing. "There's a man illegally fishing in community waters and refusing to leave." I almost laughed, almost, but I stayed quiet, because something people like her never understand is that confidence doesn't come from yelling, it comes from paperwork. Within minutes, 2 police cars rolled up. Lights off, but serious. The WA woman pointed at my brother like he'd robbed a bank. "That's him." The officers approached, polite but firm. "Sir, we received a call about unauthorized fishing." Mark handed them his license. "I'm fishing with permission. This is my brother's lake." The WA board member cut in. "That's not true. The WA maintains it. It's shared water." I calmly asked the officer, "Would you like to see the deed?" That gave him pause, because most people don't say that unless they mean it. I pulled the documents from my truck. Land deed, water rights, surveys older than the WA itself. The officer scanned them slowly, his expression changing. The WA woman started interrupting. "Those are outdated. Everyone uses this lake." The officer looked up. "Ma'am, do you have documentation showing WA ownership?" Silence. She tried to bluff. "Our lawyer." "That's a no," the officer said. Then he did something that would end up costing the WA millions. He asked for the recording of the 911 call. Part 2. The $4 million mistake. The mood shifted instantly. The officers stepped aside, listening to the call playback on their radios. I could hear her voice, exaggerated, panicked, accusing my brother of trespassing, refusing to leave, and creating a hostile situation. None of it was true. Mark had barely spoken. One officer returned and said, "Ma'am, filing a false police report is a serious offense." She went pale. I was just protecting community property. The officer shook his head. "This isn't community property. That should have been the end of it." But it wasn't, because this wasn't the first time the WA had used police calls to harass people they didn't like. Mine just happened to be the first incident with clear body cam footage, false statements, and verified ownership records. I filed a formal complaint the next day. Then another. Then my attorney uncovered something interesting. The WA had filed multiple false reports over the years. Noise complaints, trespassing accusations, even welfare checks, often targeting homeowners who refused to follow their unofficial rules. That's when it escalated. The city opened an investigation. The police department flagged the WA for abuse of emergency services. Their insurance company was notified. And then the lawsuits began. False reporting, harassment, defamation, abuse of authority, emotional distress. The WA tried to settle quietly. Too late. During discovery, emails surfaced where board members openly discussed using the cops to scare people into compliance. Judges don't like that, neither do insurance underwriters. By the time the case concluded, the WA had lost its insurance coverage, paid massive legal fees, and was hit with a $4 million judgment, not just to me, but to several homeowners they had targeted before. The board dissolved within weeks. The woman who made the 911 call resigned and sold her house. As for my brother, he still fishes that lake. Every time he casts a line, I think about how one reckless phone call, made out of entitlement and ego, destroyed an entire walk. All because they couldn't accept one simple truth.